Your brain right now is not broken. It's trained. Every time you gave in, your brain fired a dopamine signal so strong, it literally rewired itself around that one behavior, built a highway for it, paved it smooth, made it the path of least resistance. That's not weakness. That's neuroscience. But here's what nobody is putting together. The Bible described this process 2,000 years before any neuroscientist touched a brain scan. Romans 12:2, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Not your heart, not your soul, your mind. Specifically, deliberately. That word transformed in Greek is metamorpho, the same root as metamorphosis, a structural change. Not a feeling, not a promise you make at 2 a.m., a biological restructuring of how your brain processes reality. That's what this video is about. Here's what's happening inside your skull every time the cycle runs. Your brain has a reward circuit. At the center of it sits the nucleus accumbens, the part that releases dopamine when something feels good. Food, connection, achievement, all of it runs through there. Pornography and compulsive sexual behavior hijacked that exact circuit, not gently, hard. The dopamine spike from that stimulus is higher than almost anything your brain produces naturally. And your brain adapts. It always adapts. It starts down-regulating dopamine receptors, producing less, responding less, which means ordinary life, conversation, sunlight, food, real human connection starts feeling flat, gray, underwhelming, and the only thing that cuts through that gray is the behavior that caused it. Proverbs 27:20, the eyes of man are never satisfied. That's not poetry. That's a description of a dopamine feedback loop written 2,000 years ago. The appetite grows. The satisfaction shrinks. The gap between them becomes the trap. Now here's where it gets interesting. Modern neuroscience talks about neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to physically change its structure based on repeated behavior and thought patterns. New pathways form, old ones weaken. The brain you have today is not fixed. It is being shaped right now by what you repeatedly do and repeatedly think. Paul wrote to the Romans from a prison cell. He had no MRI machine, no peer-reviewed study, but he understood something that took science another 2,000 years to confirm. The mind can be renewed, structurally, not just emotionally. The word he used, anakinosis in Greek, means a complete renovation, like gutting a house down to the frame and rebuilding it, not repainting the walls, rebuilding. And how does that renovation happen? Philippians 4:8, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, think about these things. That is a neuroplasticity protocol written in the 1st century. What you repeatedly direct your attention toward physically strengthens those neural pathways. Repeated scripture, repeated prayer, repeated redirection of thought. These are not just spiritual disciplines, they are biological interventions. You are not just feeding your soul, you are literally rewiring your brain. So what does this look like practically? Not theoretically. Right now, today. 3 things. First, name the trigger before it names you. Every craving has a trigger upstream of it. Stress, loneliness, boredom, shame from a previous session. Before the urge arrives fully formed, there is always a signal. Start identifying it. Write it down. The moment you name it, you pull it out of the subconscious and into the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that can actually make decisions. James 1:14, each person is tempted when they are dragged away by their own evil desire and enticed. Dragged away, that's an unconscious process. Naming it makes it conscious. Second, replace. Don't just resist. Willpower alone depletes. Neuroscience calls it ego depletion. The more you white-knuckle resist something, the less mental energy you have to keep resisting. The brain needs a replacement pathway, not just a blocked one. When the urge hits, have something already decided. A psalm you read, a walk you take, a person you call. The replacement has to be specific and ready before the moment arrives. Third, confession breaks the shame cycle. Shame drives the behavior underground, and underground behavior has no accountability, no light, no healing. 1 John 1:9 isn't just a theological statement, it's a psychological mechanism. Confession externalizes the thing that was feeding on secrecy. It loses power the moment it is spoken out loud to another person. None of this is fast. Neuroplasticity research suggests it takes between 60 and 90 days of consistent new behavior before a new pathway becomes dominant. 60 to 90 days, not a week, not a prayer, not one good decision. That means you will slip, and when you do, the worst thing you can do is catastrophize it. One relapse does not erase the rewiring you have already done. The brain doesn't work that way. What kills recovery isn't failure. It's the shame spiral after failure that sends you straight back. Proverbs 24:16, for though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. 7 times. The Bible built falling into the definition of righteousness. Getting up is the qualification, not staying down. Your brain built that addiction one decision at a time, over months, over years. It will be rebuilt the same way. One redirect, one verse, one honest conversation, one morning you chose different. Romans 12:2 isn't a suggestion, it's a blueprint. And your brain, right now, today, is still capable of following it. Start there.